an audience here to talk a little bit about what will be going on tomorrow evening. Just looking around, like this big teeter-totter, they have like 2 rolling loudspeakers. It sounds like when you're sitting in the audience, the train is passing by. So through this kind of movement, acoustical movement, you can simulate somehow how the Doppler effects and other kind of acoustical phenomena, how they work. Other element is the fire organ. So every time you play on a keyboard or a computer could be attached to it, hooked up to it, a small kind of electromechanical device is pushing down a sleeve, and oxygen is mixing with the propane. The flame gets hotter, and then it makes the sound. In the 1980s, when I was working with a composer, Conlon Nancarrow, when he talked about fighting in Spain.
Nancarrow, the American composer, famous for his player piano pieces, his piano rolls. Nancarrow had said he was interned at Gurs.
Who are these people? What happened? And always throughout my whole lifetime, this name Gurs came up, and it always reminded me of this, as a young boy, what I was told, which was very, very little. Like, it was just a phrase basically. Well, they was just sent away to Gurs. There was a man, Victor Rosenberg, reading this article, also mentioned the name Gurs, and he found a whole shoebox of letters left by his father. He offered to me to have access to the letters. A phone call from somebody saying, I was actually in Gurs when I was 10 years old. I was on this train. And so Manfred Wildmann, who lives now like 70 years later here in nearby in Menlo Park, and he also offered me to use some of the material.
I don't know where the wood came from, the stove came from. I remember the wood was still green and did not catch fire, creating a lot of smoke inside the barrack. There was no glass in the windows. It was just a window screen covered with some kind of plasticite, which also cut out a lot of light. We were only there one winter, and it snowed once or twice.
And here back there you see some kind of a big picture reel, and I took photographs of all these train stations. And there's a camera built in, and the narrator, Rinde, will actually activate or interact with this wheel, so you see like the train stations passing by, like the 10-year-old boy was sitting inside the train and everything is passing by. These images are not just like a YouTube video. Most of these images which will be projected, you actually can see how they are generated.
To America, we are extremely worried. And now, with love, your Julius, EOG,
on stage, and they go back to the date November 9th, 10th, 1938, Kristallnacht. My work was always based on using sound and space, adding another dimension to sound, move the sound through space. It helps to keep this in memory, these names in memory, so this should be never forgotten.